Hello and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the so-called email scandal of Hillary Clinton. Specifically, we'll discuss why the evidence shows Clinton did not commit a crime and why she did not get any beneficial treatment from the FBI. Part C. Conspiracy Talk Ignores Non-Partisan Experts. In the previous part, we outlined how an objective analysis of Clinton's case and the many other cases it has been compared to show the comparisons are misleading or false. We also discussed why, as a result, the claims that Clinton committed a crime or got special treatment when she was not charged don't make sense. This, however, didn't stop GOP Representative John Mica from outlining a new conspiracy theory to FBI Director James Comey. Representative Mica unveiled a so-called Clinton timeline regarding some events in the first week of July 2016. Events included President Clinton's ill-conceived meeting with Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Secretary Clinton's FBI interview, President Obama's rally with Secretary Clinton on the same day of the FBI's announcement, and so on. Mica claimed he was no conspiracy theorist, yet he advanced a misleading timeline intended to promote a conspiracy theory. In fact, in the months preceding the so-called Clinton timeline and Comey's announcement, several legal experts had already said she was not likely to be indicted based on an objective analysis of the facts and legal precedents. On September 21st, 2015, Professor Laurie Leveson published an analysis in the National Law Journal. The conclusion, quote, Clinton's email, unwise, but likely not criminal, end quote. Also, an analysis by ABC's legal analyst Dan Abrams on February 1st, 2016 concluded that Clinton did not commit a crime. We previously discussed this analysis in part B of this video. On March 20th, 2016, Professor Richard Limpert published his analysis of the case in the American Prospect. His conclusion? Hillary won't be indicted and should not be. On March 22nd, 2016, the Associated Press reported that legal experts did not think a Clinton indictment was likely. Likewise, on March 27th, 2016, the Los Angeles Times talked to legal experts and reported that they believed Clinton faced little risk of being prosecuted. On April 11, 2016, Politico published the results of an analysis that concluded, quote, past cases suggest Hillary won't be indicted. A Politico review shows marked differences between her case and those that led to charges, end quote. Of course, none of the dispassionate legal analysis of non-partisan experts mattered to conservative and Republican activists and media, who kept claiming that no indictment would imply a cover-up. By April 5th, 2016, Media Matters for America documented that at least 15 Republican or conservative media figures had laid the groundwork to claim that if Clinton was not indicted, that would imply a cover-up. Also recall that all of this had occurred prior to President Obama's Fox News interview on April 10th, 2016. Moreover, it wasn't just independent legal analysts and experts who had pointed out that Clinton was unlikely to be indicted. A few news reports where investigators were cited were pointing to the same outcome. Here, for example, was Andrea Mitchell on MSNBC on February 1st, 2016. Remember, this was 5 months before GOP Representative John Mica's so-called Clinton timeline and more than 2 months prior to President Obama's interview on Fox News.
I honestly, from my sources, and they go pretty high up, including some of the people who are doing the review for the inside the intelligence community. I don't think there is the legal culpability here. I don't think there is going to be what has been widely reported for a bunch of reasons.
2 months prior to Representative Micah's so-called Clinton timeline, by early May 2016, the Washington Post reported that ahead of interviewing Clinton, quote, prosecutors and FBI agents investigating Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email server have so far found scant evidence that the leading Democratic presidential candidate intended to break classification rules, end quote. The Post also pointed out that the prosecutors on the case were the ones who had previously successfully prosecuted Zacarias Moussaoui, the 9/11 co-conspirator. These were the prosecutors who would also likely handle an Edward Snowden case. Around the same time, CNN had a brief but very similar update.
Now, the interviews, we're told, are focused on whether classified information was mishandled and the security of the server. But so far, officials tell us no, there is no evidence of criminal wrongdoing at this point in the investigation.
In fact, by the end of May 2016, the presumptive VP nominee of the Libertarian Party spoke briefly about Clinton's emails. Bill Weld was the former Republican governor of Massachusetts. He emphatically dismissed the notion that Clinton committed any crime with her email arrangement. Listen.
I'll give you one more news tidbit. All this stuff about Secretary Clinton's use of email accounts and the report that came out and how she might get indicted, I'm not buying. And I used to be head of the criminal division of the Justice Department of the United States.
What does that mean you're not buying?
I'm not buying it. You can't indict somebody if there's no evidence of criminal intent, and I don't see any evidence of criminal intent.
Despite all that history, indictment-focused stories and conspiracy theories were plentiful, especially in the conservative media, where longtime political hacks, paraded as quote-unquote experts, continued to feed the Republican base the indictment claim. No wonder that a longtime Republican like FBI Director Comey, with an impeccable reputation, especially within the GOP, was forced to disabuse the public of the notion that he was in any way pressured on the investigation.
My honest answer is I don't think so. When I talked to the chairman, I agreed to come because I think the American people care deeply about this. There's all kinds of folks watching this at home or being told, well, lots of other cases were prosecuted and she wasn't. I want them to know that's not true.
To watch the remaining parts of this video and to discover other such videos, go to electionado.com.